Hello, and welcome to Spokane County Spotlight. I'm Commissioner Mary Kuney, and my guests today are Spokane County Undersheriff Kevin Richey and Lieutenant Justin Elliot. Kevin and Justin, welcome to today's program.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. I've invited our guest here today to discuss public safety and the Real-Time Crime Center. But before we do that, Kevin, can you give our audience a brief description of yourself and what led you to becoming an undersheriff?
Absolutely. So my name is Kevin Richey. Currently, I'm the administrative undersheriff for the sheriff's office. I oversee the budget and a lot of the administrative functions. I've been with the sheriff's office for 21 years. I started in patrol like everybody else and worked the streets for about 12 years. And then I've been a detective in the sexual assault unit and the domestic violence unit. I spent some time as a patrol sergeant, as a supervisor on the road, and also supervised the sexual assault unit before I was promoted to the assistant chief out in Spokane Valley. So I was the assistant chief in Spokane Valley for a couple years, and then Sheriff Knowles promoted me to undersheriff and put me where I'm at right now.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And so, Justin, can you give us that same background information, kind of a little bit about yourself for the audience and what brought you to the sheriff's office?
Well, I've been in law enforcement for about 25 years now, 19 years with the sheriff's office, starting back in 2005. During that time, similar to Kevin and I worked patrol for many years, and that was in the Spokane Valley, in the unincorporated, and then assignments in investigations, major crimes, domestic violence, also as a supervisor on patrol, the training unit, and other assignments during that time. In the last 3 years, I've been assigned to the Intelligence Division of Investigations, and that's specifically the Regional Intelligence Group 9, or RIG 9, here at the Sheriff's Office.
Thank you. Thank you both for giving us that information. As I travel throughout my district, from Spokane Valley to Spangle, one of the most common concerns that I hear is about crime and people wanting to feel safe in their communities. Recently, however, I've received some very troubling statistics from our Spokane County medical examiner, showing a significant increase in drug overdose deaths. From 2020 to 2023, deaths involving fentanyl went from 28 to 195. A shocking 596% increase. Tragically, 7 of those people during that time period were under the age of 18. I understand, that kind of lets us know the statistics and what's really going on in our community with that. I understand we've also seen a recent increase in violent crime rates, including shootings, assaults, and burglaries. So Kevin, can you tell us about what the sheriff's efforts are doing to combat the illegal drugs and those other troubling trends?
Absolutely. So the sheriff's office, a number of years ago, we started employing, intelligence-led policing. And one of the focuses for the drug issue and the fentanyl issue in Spokane County is we're trying to go or do some high-level investigations into the deaths and trace the drugs back to the supplier and the dealers. And so we've been working on that for a number of years now. We've had a few successes. A lot of the focus in the past has been on the end user of the drugs, and unfortunately, most of them need, they need therapy, they need resources, they need, rehab, as opposed to incarceration. So we're with the state mandates and the state laws, we're kind of shifting our focus away on that and focusing more on the like I said, the suppliers and the dealers. You mentioned violent crime and high-level property crimes. We're continuing to do those investigations. We're continuing to put a lot of resources on that. We need help from the court systems and from the jail, obviously, and holding people that commit those crimes accountable. But I think we're doing a good job with our investigations. It's a nationwide problem. It's a statewide problem, and we share the same concerns as you do. So it's definitely something we're focused on.
And we know you're working hard every day on it. So we truly do know that you're doing everything you can. So thank you for that. Next, I'd like to discuss a new approach that the Sheriff's Office is undertaking, the Real-Time Crime Center. Justin, many of our viewers may not have heard about this cutting-edge capability used by deputies, detectives, and other law enforcement partners to fight crime in our communities. So with this new technology coming, can you share a little bit of background on the Real-Time Crime Center and how it is going to come to be?
Absolutely, and it's definitely a new approach and a way of bringing what we're already using into a common picture. But a lot of the technology isn't new. This is technology that we've been using for years. It's just there's so much of it coming in on specific calls, investigations, complaints that we miss a lot of information up front. So a little over 2 years ago, we started this initiative through the ARPA funding here in the county. And through a lot of work from a lot of really dedicated people, we've been able to get to the point where we're actually constructing this physical space where analysts who have law enforcement experience and different methods and different ways know what to look for to get officers the best information up front. So the best way to describe it, it's not mysterious. It's not a bunch of fancy stuff that we're going to keep secret. It's open, it's transparent. It's essentially getting as much information up front to make the best decisions at the time that the officers get it. Do they even need to go to this incident? What is the real information compared to what we're getting from whatever the source of our call is? And it's aimed at community caretaking functions and criminal activity, and it's not just what is maybe sometimes looked at as a mass surveillance, I think is sometimes what we hear. It's using what we're already spending our funds on to focus on the best outcomes quicker, and we're hoping to see those results and wins as we continue forward.
Yeah, and you were able to present to the commissioners here recently on some of the more recent wins that you've had, and we're not even at the capacity that it will be when it's all the construction is done and is all put together. I think it is one of those things that it's like, is it a little box, but it's really bringing all those different areas together that you've already been doing into one location, so the analysts have that ability to see everything.
Yes, and those people working there are so important because they're the ones that determine what's important to us now and what do they need to focus on. And we believe that they're going to have so much to be able to offer to patrol and our partner agencies that they're going to be busy dealing with the most important things first, the violent crimes, things where services are needed the most.
So one of the things you talked about when you came in and spoke to the county commissioners was talking about that this gives us the opportunity for precision policing. So that was a term that kind of was that aha moment for me. And so many people may not be familiar with that term. So can you explain that term to people?
Yes, that is us trying to, again, get the best outcomes possible. And that's getting the best information and making less mistakes. Because the less information you have, the less that you're likely to have the best possible outcome. So through precision policing, we use what's called layered technology. We don't use just one type of technology. If it's cameras or if it's intelligence databases, we layer that to be able to get the best information up front and quick in our people's hands. For example, I'll use an example of on patrol. Kevin and I were even assigned to what was called Weed and Seed. It was a program that was funded years ago. And we would be told, hey, this area is determined that needs attention because the crime rate's high. We would go in and we would enforce everything that we saw with really no other direction. This Real-Time Crime Center project provides that direction of maybe we're looking for a specific location, a specific person, which mitigates the necessity to have multiple contacts that might turn out to be negative that are unnecessary, complaints, uses of force, other negative contacts because somebody, as we've heard, fit the description. So with this precision policing, we can give the best information again up front where it's targeted and hopefully give the officers probable cause, limits liability, hopefully gets the offenders up front and stops further crime sprees and trends.
Like I said, that was really one of those terms that really made a lot of sense to me as we look at that versus, casting a wider net, I think is how the terms you guys use. So appreciate that. I know many of our viewers, though, at home are probably like me and feel a sense of security in knowing that help is on the way when we call 911. Kevin, how important is it, though, from a crime fighting and law enforcement perspective to prevent crime before it happens and now to be able to respond in real time?
Sure. Well, obviously, preventing something from occurring is the best possible outcome, correct? Right? But I think the next best thing is to have real-time data and information that we can get to the officers who are responding to the situation. The Real-Time Crime Center is going to have the capabilities that are going to feed data to officers in their cars and over the radio, and they're going to know exactly what they're getting into when they arrive. So that's one of the biggest things, I think, to make people feel safer and to know that we're out there not watching, but gathering this information and getting it out there in real time to the responding officers, I think is going to be a huge asset that we're going to have.
Thank you. That's an important perspective. And as commissioners, we're responsible for overseeing the county budget, and including the sheriff's office falls under the county's budget. So Justin, how is the Real-Time Crime Center making policy not only more effective to drive down crime rates, but also making the best use of taxpayer resources as we deploy officers to calls? I know some of our viewers might be excited to hear about this news, about how we are protecting the law-abiding citizens' privacy and being transparent in the data that is being collected and used.
We believe that getting that information up front will determine, does an officer really need to go? And once they have better information, they can do upfront investigations that would take time by that officer on scene at a call and mitigate that time as well. So maybe they can clear sooner. So with response times, with the different types of technology assets we have, we'll be able to show those outcomes, which is built into our plan, and our mission is to make officers more available, to be out, keeping their head out of the computer and talking to citizens and going out and taking forward our community-oriented policing efforts and doing that stuff on the back end so that they can make good decisions. And then the second half regarding privacy concerns and transparency, we're striving to be as transparent as possible. We are following federal, state, local guidelines, laws, rules, court rulings, and then also still having a layer of oversight internally where we're not sharing everything we take in with every other agency that's around. We still apply the policy of it has to be a crime for us, and it has to fit within our policy to assist in that. So that's very much on the forefront of our mind. We've got law counsel that's working with us. We have consultants that we've used our budget funding to bring in to determine the best policies and procedures regarding the retention of certain data. But essentially what people need to know is if it's involved in a crime, we save it as evidence. If it's not, after a limited period of time, it's not retained, it's deleted.
I think one of the things for people to know too is you're not just out there watching cameras, you're waiting till something's happening, and that's when those cameras are coming into play for you.
Yes, the Real-Time Crime Center is really what you'd call a voyeur. It is responding to that data based on either a call for service or a signal. One of the few things that we will have, what would you say, proactive to the Real-Time Crime Center is they'll be able to listen to 911 calls as they come in before dispatch or patrol gets them. So they'll be able to see, do we need to start looking at this right away and maybe move a camera towards that criminal activity or a missing person? Because we had missing persons just recently that the cameras assisted on or could have been, got those persons to safety sooner.
Very good. So that's an important perspective. So I'll say as commissioners, we're responsible for making sure that that's happening for our citizens. And so I just want to say thank you for that, because it's so important to the citizens to know that they're not being watched. I know, that's one of those things that people are concerned about. And I know, my husband has a family construction business, that it's important that we can let you use those cameras to help fight the crime that is occurring on those job sites and those situations. So I think it's important for people to know that it's an active when something's going on.
We have so much work to do to work on community safety that the mere idea of our analysts being able, or operators being able to just randomly search this stuff without a reason is not realistic. We don't have that time. We need to take the time away from the officers that they have to do on the street.
So protecting public safety in our communities is a top priority for the board and the constituents we represent. We all want our deputies to have the best training, technology, and equipment to be able to do their jobs effectively. That's why I'm pleased commissioners made this investment, as well as in the new state-of-the-art Sheriff's Training Center and also in a new helicopter for the Sheriff's Office. Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about the Sheriff's Air Unit and how that is making a difference, especially with vehicle pursuits?
Yes, of course. So the Spokane Regional Air Support Unit, it's grown extensively over the past decade or more, and a lot of the reason it's grown is because of a response to legislation and laws that are changing, especially with vehicle pursuits. As you mentioned, we're in the process of purchasing a new Bell 505 to replace our outdated Bell OH-58. So the community is going to see a new helicopter up there flying pretty soon, hopefully soon. It gives us a lot of advantages, especially in vehicle pursuits. It'll allow us to follow vehicles without using a chasing police vehicle, which is inherently dangerous to the community. In high population areas, it's dangerous to drive around in fast cars when you can just watch from the air, right? The helicopter will also allow us, once the suspect is stopped, to track the individuals as they leave. It gives real-time data to responding officers. The real-time crime center can see the feeds from the cameras and the FLIR system, and it'll just help us better, catch people who are out there doing things they're not supposed to be doing, without having to actually chase them close behind in a police vehicle. So that's It's been a great program. It's a partnership with all local community law enforcement, and we're looking forward to expanding it.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you about is the behavioral health initiatives that are happening at the Sheriff's Office.
Well, currently we have co-responders in the field. We partner with Frontier Behavioral Health to provide clinicians to ride around with deputies and Spokane police officers as in our co-responder program. They respond all over the county and the city of Spokane, and they deal with mental health crises or people in crisis. And the goal is to intervene when they're having the crisis, and to get them resources they need and to divert them away from the hospitals and the jails where they probably don't need to be. And it's been a great program. We've been doing it since about 2017. And we hope to continue it and expand it in the future. So.
Very good. And then I know one of the other things we wanted to talk about as well is school safety.
Yeah, the Real-Time Crime Center, to me, one of the most important aspects of it is school safety. We've partnered with the schools. Every school that we have an SR or a school resource deputy in is part of our program and allows very limited access to their cameras for real-time, in-progress things. So, in the event that there's an emergency at the school and deputies need to respond, it's going to shave seconds or minutes off of our response time. They know what they're getting into, and I believe, this potentially will save lives. And so I'm really excited about using this program for school safety. So.
No, I think that's going to be really important. We all know what happened at Freeman, back in 2017, and so that's, and as we look across the nation, as a parent, all of us are. It's like, that's one of the most important things. So I find it exciting as a commissioner that you're partnering with the schools to make it even better and safer. Yeah,
can you imagine how valuable it would have been to have eyes in the classroom or in the hallways when that event was occurring? And we're going to be able to do that. And so that's something I'm very excited about.
And to add to that, not just the capability to have the cameras there, but somebody who knows how to use that system. We've worked with the local school district, ESD, new ESD 101, to work on things like getting all the schools to have the same naming of their cameras so that our operators know where they're looking when something happens. And also our goal and growth will be to cover all the hours of school time, because right now we only have the funding for about 3 analysts initially under this grant for this project. And in order to get to, again, the full school week and maybe even the 24/7 time to be able to respond to different types of crimes will be important. So with the schools, we've been working that diligently through not only active incidents, but mitigating those type of incidents through school threat investigation. Our detectives in Rig 9 respond to just about every school threat situation in conjunction with the school resource deputies. And we take those very seriously at all the different schools within the county. So school safety is one of our #1 priorities. Again, we hope to show through those partnerships the superintendents have been great. We're trying to work with certain school districts on maybe even getting external camera access for patrol response, not only when it's a major, major incident.
Thank you. No, I think it's going to be key and very much needed and definitely part of future policing. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about, as we started, I talked about the medical examiner, the overdose deaths that are happening. So can you talk a little bit more about overdose investigations and how this will help?
Absolutely. So, and this is nothing real new to us other than the last year or two. Rig 9 is also tasked with not only intelligence investigations and terrorism in the region, but also crime analysis. So through our crime analysis, the spike in drug crimes, the state drug laws were rolled back significantly, and overdoses skyrocketed. And through that information we got, we contacted the medical examiner's office, and we also, with other partners and agencies, we started employing an OD map system. But it's a lot of work to be able to keep up on that with the number of analysts we have. So through that OD mapping, we were able to see if there's trends in certain areas, and is that dealers in those areas, is that the type of drugs that are getting distributed, and how can we best put our resources towards mitigating that. So what we employ now through Rig 9 and major crimes and all of our other detectives units is that when there is an overdose, death, or even somebody who's resuscitated, we have a method for responding to those and acting quickly, securing evidence to be able to identify if we're able to charge a dealer with criminal homicide, which is allowed in Washington State through controlled substance homicide. They're very difficult, but there's a definite need, giving our victim profiles and the level of those investigations, to have this support not only from real-time crime, from other agencies, and from all the different resources that we employ in order to get successful prosecutions in those. And I'll end with, the better our evidence is and the better tech information we have, the more likely we're to get a better outcome in the courts as well. Maybe avoiding long trials or plead down charges much lower than what maybe the crime was. So we could talk a lot about the way these investigations go, but essentially we haven't been able to really attack overdose investigations as well until just recently because of this new approach to the county.
And I just have to say, it's important that, nobody knows what those pills are that are out there on the streets. And with fentanyl and the way it's produced, any pill you take could kill you. And so I think it's just important for the citizens to know that don't do it. But people that are, it's like you're out there actually trying to fight and make sure that those dealers aren't on the streets. So thank you. Another thing we wanted to talk about is the third-party videos. Mm-hmm.
So the third-party video is something that, in Spokane County, we don't have thousands of cameras like some other large metropolitan areas have within their municipalities, and we're a county agency. So in order to get situational awareness and having cameras in multiple areas to see if we need to respond, are those cars out of the roadway after a collision? Do our officers really need to drive fast to get there? Or do they need to slow down, and is it safely off the roadway? It just increases safety in many different ways. So through the third-party video program, there's an option for businesses to be able to connect directly to the real-time crime center. And when we have an active incident, we can look straight into those cameras through one of our technology partners and be able to be virtually on scene almost immediately. And that just changes the way we do police work. And it just increases the effectiveness, and it gets back to that precision policing model and having our employees with their eyes directly on it and communicating directly to dispatch and the deputies.
And again, it's that active incident. That's when you start to look at those cameras. It's not pre or any of that, it's when that active incident is happening and is truly what's going to help us solve those crimes. So hopefully people out there, third parties, will want to contact the sheriff's office and look into becoming part of the situation, the real-time crime center with us. A couple of other things I wanted to talk about is, so recently we just opened the sheriff's new training center. Undersheriff Richey, would you like to talk to us about that? It's
an exciting facility. We're in partnership with the U.S. Air Force. We're looking at ways of expanding our training, adding training. We're going to bring in a lot of regional training to the training center to offer to our law enforcement partners around the area. Still new now, but we're excited in what it's going to bring, and a lot of virtual reality type training, a lot of hands-on, reality-based training. So it's pretty exciting. It's pretty interesting, and if we have some open houses every once in a while, and so I encourage people to come out and check it out if they get the opportunity.
So as we talk about training, let's talk about recruitment.
Okay.
So what are we doing to recruit those people to get them trained?
We're doing everything we can to recruit. So if you ever thought about a career in law enforcement, contact the Sheriff's Office recruiting team out there at the training center or civil service, and we'll get you in the door, and we'll start talking about a career in law enforcement. It's pretty exciting right now. So yeah, anyone who's there's a $10,000 signing bonus for entry-level applicants, and a $25,000 signing bonus for lateral applicants, and we're taking all the applications we can get right now.
And I think, too, for new people coming in, I mean, the Sheriff's Office has the state-of-the-art training.
Yes.
I mean, you have the latest and greatest, which is important to keep those people safe, the officers, as they're learning and all of that, in a, controlled environment and safe, and keeps our citizens safe as well.
Absolutely.
So we were happy as commissioners to help make that happen. One of the other things is, with the Sheriff's Office, you do a lot of other interactions with other agencies. Do you want to talk about how you interact with other agencies? You do it on a daily basis with a lot of different things, but also on the Real-Time Crime Center.
Yeah, we're in a unique area on the eastern side of Washington. We've the eastern 9 counties are supported by, eastern 10 counties by Rig 9, in addition to North Idaho, and it's one metropolitan area. Luckily, a lot of our technology is shared, which makes things a lot easier. However, there's always barriers there. And we have regional meetings, collaboration with our investigative units. Essentially, we're always finding ways to share information effectively and working together, because our citizenry is in this area, and we're surrounded by a vast amount of geography to get to the next large city. So it's important that we communicate and work well with those partnering agencies.
So we're coming to the close. Is there any last comment that you have that we haven't talked about?
No, I think we're just excited for the future of law enforcement in Spokane County. I'm proud that the Spokane County Sheriff's Office and Spokane County and the commissioners have supported our efforts to be cutting edge, and so I'm really excited to see what the next few years brings, and hopefully we can come back and have an update and a lot of positive successes. So.
Thank you. No, I appreciate everything you do. I mean, you guys are true heroes. You're out there putting your lives on the line every day and trying to make it safe for our citizens. So thank you very much. So Kevin and Justin, I've enjoyed our discussion today, and I think our viewers have too, but I'm afraid we've run out of time. So I want to thank you for joining us here today. To learn more about the Real-Time Crime Center, you can visit our website at SpokaneCounty.org and search RTCC. As a reminder, a video of today's Spotlight can be viewed on our website or by visiting the Spokane County YouTube channel. I'm County Commissioner Mary Kuney. Thank you for joining us today on Spokane County Spotlight.